Hi, thanks for joining me today for Let's Be Creative with LBC. My name is Tracy, and today what we are going to work on is Valentines. So if you go to the store to shop for a box of Valentines, the kinds that kids might share amongst themselves in a classroom, you will notice that all of Valentines are small. So I have a few Valentines that I've kept from over the years. I have a little stash of them, and you'll see that they are all pretty small, like 3.5 by 2.5, or right around in there. So with my Valentines, I like them also to be tiny. I like to make small cards. The other thing is, when you buy a box of cards like that, they tend to be in a family, which is to say you will find, like if they're Mickey Mouse ones, there will be a series of images that are all in the same color palette that are matching but not all the same. So that is another thing that I like to do with Valentines. And so today what we are going to do is we're going to make some Valentines that you can give to the people that you love in your life. You can either tuck them under a pillow or put them on the porch, or you can pop them into the mail. We'll talk about that a little later. So the other thing that I try and focus on when we do these videos is I like to try and use materials that people might have on hand. You don't have to have a room full of art supplies to be creative and make something that's really pretty. So today we are going to use the Humble grocery bag. I like to use craft paper in my projects, so this will be a little bit like craft paper. Construction paper you will need of whatever colors. I'm going to use red. You can choose whatever color you like for your Valentines. You'll want some glue stick, a ruler, scissors, safety scissors for the littles, of course, and a white crayon. And once again, you can use whatever colors you want for your designs, but the projects we're going to make today will involve this white crayon. If you should have a heart punch, that is a bonus, but I'll show you how you can cut your own hearts out without a heart punch. All right, so let's get started and see what we can make with all these great supplies. Okay, so let's get started making some tiny Valentines. This is a piece of paper cut from a grocery bag, and I want my finished Valentines to be around 2.5 by 6.25. As I said when in the introduction, Valentines are kind of in a family, so to speak, so they're all similar, but they don't all have to be the same. And when you're making your own projects, there are no rules except for the ones that you want. So I'm going to make these about 2.5 by 6.25, and if they end up a little bigger or a little smaller, it's okay. So I marked 2.5 inches from each edge to give me a cut line, which I am going to do. And of course, if you have a little one about, help with those scissor cuts. If you have a paper trimmer, as many crafters do, that will make it a little bit easier. So I have it 6.25. I made it a little bit long because I want to be able to tear it. I'm not quite sure what the design of this piece is going to be, and we'll just see what happens as we go. So I'm going to rip this off. So I have a nice little torn edge right here. Now this piece is too long, so I'm going to go ahead and trim it right about there. And so my finished size is 2.5 by 3, and that is the perfect size for a little one. The full piece is, I don't know, 6 or 7 inches. But folded in half, it's a really cute size. If you do tear the bottom of yours, keep these pieces because you never know where they might end up on in your design process. I like to just get started and then see where it takes me. Okay, so we'll set those aside. Now I said I wanted to use a white crayon. This is sort of acting like craft paper, and I love how this looks on here. So I am going to just start out by making some hearts on here. We'll do a few rows of hearts. I like how the colors kind of contrast, but it's quiet. It's not really elaborate. I'm going to make my own little hearts here. Odd numbers are always good when you're making art. Even numbers seem to be static and aren't as, I don't know, appealing. So I put even and odd number hearts on here. I think I'm going to go ahead and sort of just color on the edge so that that shows up a little bit more. And you know what? I think I'm going to use my glue stick to put this torn piece right here. I think it needs to be a little smaller. I'm going to use a smaller piece. Oh yeah, I think that's pretty great. So I'll use my glue stick. And I'm going to put glue on the back of this. Doesn't take much. I'm trying to do it off my work area so that my pieces don't stick as we continue here. All right, and I'm just going to put that on there. And I'll set this aside for a moment. So I said if you have a heart punch, then you can punch out a cute little heart and it would rest on here. And that might be kind of cute. But let's see what happens if we make our own heart. All you have to do is fold your paper. This is cardstock, but construction paper would work as well. And I'm just gonna make the shape of an ear. We're gonna just cut it in on itself. It's doubled up, so it will be symmetrical, meaning both sides will be the exact same. Let's open it up and see how it goes. Oh, that's terrific. So that little heart might sit right on there. Do we want it to have another heart? Let's do it and see what happens. Here's my fold. Maybe a little bit smaller. Smaller is actually a little bit harder to do, especially with big scissors. So a smaller pair of scissors might make it easier. That one didn't work. Let's try that again. So we're gonna cut up and then circle back around on itself. See how that one turned out. Oh, love it. It's a little bit different. And it can tuck maybe right behind the last one. Nope, I don't like that one. Let's try one more time. Remember, that's the cool thing about making, is it's all yours to do. There is no wrong answer. And what you like is the end. I could be using pink, purple, whatever color papers Valentine's Day speaks to you. Okay, that's a little bit better. I like that. Okay, so the hearts are down and that's pretty cute. It needs a little something. I want to zhuzh it up a little bit. And ordinarily I might use some gems from my stash or some liquid paint or some glitter to put on here. But I thought it would be kind of fun to see what aluminum foil would do to give it a little bit of put a gem looking thing on there. So this is aluminum foil from my kitchen. Just going to tear a little piece off, turn it into a, wad it up a little bit, and let's see if it's right there. Ha, that's cute. I like this idea. Sometimes when you're improvising from materials you have on hand, you can come up with some really fun ideas. Okay, so that's pretty cute. I am happy with how that looks. All right, so there are two more things to complete your card. One is the sentiment. So that will be on the inside. I put extra layer of paper right here. I just cut something to inset just to give it a little bit more heft, since the grocery bag isn't really heavy. So I did that, which you might be able to see. And now I need to write the sentiment. So most Valentine cards say things like, be mine, or you're sweet, or will you be my Valentine? So I think that's what I'm going to put on here is, you're sweet. Be my Valentine. And so it's not floating. I think I'll put a box around it just to give it a little bit more presence, and it's not just floating on the paper. Perfect. The next thing you want to do, oh, I like to kind of add little embellishments to my letters to give them a little bit more, so they look a little bit more fancy. So that's what I'll do. And you get the idea here. I'll finish the rest later. Okay, so the last thing you need is an envelope. If you're going to give these to a neighbor or put them on someone's pillow or maybe at the dinner table or wherever you're going to put them, then you need just a little simple envelope, much like the ones that come in the boxes of Valentines. So my Valentine is small, so I cut a piece of white copy paper. Oh, there's that, where that went. This is, what size is it? Let's just measure. It is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, and you need to add that. There's my measurement, 3 3/4 by 7 inches, so that you can fold it. I used glue stick on the edges, and then I made a fold line so that I can fold it over. So my little Valentine card goes into the envelope, and there's one for me to give to someone. If I mail them, and I do have some that I will mail, I will put them in a larger envelope to go through the post office. As I make a couple of Valentines on speed mode, let me tell you a little bit about the day we celebrate each year on February 14th. The history of Valentine's Day, which dates back to the Middle Ages and beyond, is murky and mysterious. There are 3 recognized Saint Valentines, each with a different story of love and loss. Many poems are written about Valentine's Day, including the one written by Geoffrey Chaucer, who was the first to write of Valentine's Day as a day for romance. He wrote that in 1375 in the poem Parliament of Fowls, and that was 646 years ago. Shakespeare also wrote of Valentine's Day in the 1600s. The first recorded written Valentine was sent in 1415, over 600 years ago. It was sent from Charles, the Duke of Orleans, to his wife, while he was imprisoned in the Tower of London for his role in the Battle of Agincourt. Amazingly, the Valentine still exists and is stored safely in the British Library in London. I wonder if our Valentines will end up in a library or museum someday. Regardless of how it came to be, it is good to celebrate Valentine's Day each year and treat the people around us with a little token of our affection in the form of a Valentine. We know that Valentines are fun to make and even better to receive. I read that each year approximately 145 million Valentine's Day cards will go through the mail. Wow! That doesn't even include the ones that will be left under a doormat or in the mailbox or on a pillow or under a desk. That's a lot of love. And we should add our creations to that mix. As you gather your supplies, be sure you try out different ideas. Rip your paper, cut some hearts, tear some strips, grab some ribbon or twine or aluminum foil, whatever you have on hand, and see what creations you can make. Who knew that a little wrinkled grocery bag could be so much fun to make Valentines with? So that was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoy doing that. You just need to get yourself some supplies and start having some fun with it. This one is the reverse. I cut the heart out of that for a different card, maybe this one, and use the outside for the inside, so to speak. And then the little gems are from aluminum foil. I could have used washi tape or I don't know what other things, but it was just really fun making these little cards from paper bags, a crayon, and some scissors and some glue. And I think the people who get them will like them. I hope they don't watch this until after Valentine's Day. So make some Valentines and share them with me either on Facebook or at my email at tsawyer@lutherburbankcenter.org. No matter what, we need more love. Let's spread more love around. I hope you have a wonderful time with Valentine's cards, and I look forward to seeing your creations. I will see you next time, and in the meantime, stay safe.